In order to get a good square cut on this sawmill lumber, I've run this through the planer, and it gives it a perfectly smooth edge. And now I can cut it into the dimensions that I need using this on the rail for the smooth side. Here's a tool. I'm not sure if I've ever showed it or used it on the channel before, but it's a very specific tool and it's pretty neat. I don't use it very often, but if you have two boards that you want joined together and you want that joint to be really strong, you can put what they call a biscuit in between. These are biscuits. So this tool, you line it up on the edge of the board and it drills a little groove in there that this biscuit fits into. So what you do is you go through and you make marks across the board, both boards, and you line that tool up. Then you would cut a groove on the inside of this board, inside of this board, and then that biscuit fits, you glue it, fits in between there, and then you squeeze the boards together and it makes that joint really strong. It's pretty cool, but there's several things. One, you have to be very precise on how you line it up, so you have to make sure your marks are exact. The seam itself has to be a good seam on both ways, like it has to be flush this way, and you don't want one that would be like, you know, not even or have a space in between, because that's not going to make a good joint. So they got to fit together really perfectly, and you have to get your lines perfectly in line. And this is the line right here. If you can see that, that's what you line up with on your line here. And then these biscuits come in different sizes. This is a size 10, and over here it's got a little gauge, and you tell it I'm using size 10, because you can change that to the different size biscuits. But it's pretty neat. It's really loud, so I'll probably just do a time lapse on it. But I got to get my measurements, get my perfect lines, and then it's really quick. It just goes in and out. Chickens club, sawmill sing, this homestead life gives everything. Now that we have our little grooves, this is where the little biscuit goes in, and then there's one on this side as well. So we want to put lots of glue on there. So I just turn it up a little bit and put glue down in there. Both sides. Okay. I'm going to put our little biscuit in. It will kind of straighten itself out when you start putting them together, but it is good to try to get them as straight as you can. Then you just line it up there. Give it a few taps. Now I'll put some clamps on here and we'll let it dry. I came back here to the sawmill looking for a piece of lumber. I'm building something. And I remembered that I had cut all this and it was drying. And kind of the reason I built those shelves over there was kind of to organize it a little bit. So I think while I'm back here, I'm going to get these and stack them up where they should be. And that way, the next time I do saw, I can have this rack open for drying. It looks like this top rack, they're about 6-7 inches. And this bottom rack, they're about 10 or a little wider. So I know I've got 10s. These are actually 8s. So I don't have a rack for the 8s, but we'll figure it out. It's a lot better. We've got 6, 7-ish here. And these are 10, 12. These are larger. These are like 14. So I didn't want to stack them on top of those, because then you'd have to dig down, you know. So I'll probably just keep these out for now. And then that stack over there is 8-ish. I do still have a few wider ones over there, but I may just leave them on the bottom for a base. Kind of what I do here with these really thick boards. But this rack doesn't have a middle. Doesn't have a middle brace in it. And we should have scooted those. That's just some old metal racks that we had. We should have scooted them a little closer because boards tend to sag a little bit. So I try to keep these really thick boards on here so that they don't sag while they're drying. But I got what I needed. This thing right here is a piece of gold. Look at this board. It's nice, almost square, like right at 17 inches. It's crazy, but this is exactly what I needed. So let's take it back to the wood shop. Back in the wood shop, it's time to get back on this Toybox, and I've got all my pieces, I think. This is the front and the back, the ones that we glued together. This will be the front side and the back side. These are the two ends. This will be the bottom, and then these two will come together to be the top. So I have all my pieces. I need to get final measurements and then start putting it together. I'm thinking for across there, I'm gonna need 3 hinges. So I don't want to buy one of those big long piano hinges. They're pretty expensive. But I don't have 3 of any of the same size. So let me go look over on Dad's shop side and see if there's anything over there. This is where we are on the toolbox. I've got all the sides and the bottom. It's upside down right now. screwed together. I've got the glue on there. I've got some clamps just holding it down. I'm gonna wait now and let it all dry really good. Then I'll just have to come back and do kind of a final sand on it to get it smooth, and then put the top on. And the top is going to be here. This is the top here. It's going to be 2 pieces. The small piece is going to be stationary, like nailed down, screwed down. And then the hinges will go here, and this piece of the top will flip open, you know, to access. So there we go. Well, here's the little toy box. I thought I was filming. I do that a lot. I just put the hinges on. I just measured, you know, got my center, and then just kind of spread them out evenly. And then I made sure to put a lip on the front side of the lid, because the kids will get their hands in there and the lid will slam down on their fingers. So if you do a lip, it's a little safer. I'm pretty much done. I've got this part. This part is stationary. The lid just flips open like this. You know, you access, and then I do still need to do a final sand on it to make it smooth, because we've got a few, you know, little pieces. I don't want there to be any splinters in the hands or anything like that. But overall it's done. It's a good looking piece. Here's the final toy box. It's a little dark in here today. It's cloudy out. But we've got the 3 hinges on the top. I've got a little bit of a lip here so that you can pick up and not get your fingers caught in there. It's a nice size. I am still going to do one final kind of smooth sand. Make sure I get all the edges and everything. I don't want any splinters. But it's pretty much done. Here is the finished product. It's all sanded. It's good to go. Nice and smooth. Like I said, I put this little lip right here so that you can grab, open and close. We've made them before where it was flush there and people end up getting their hands in there. And we did make one time where we made a groove right there, but that only works if you're using that area to close it. Not a big deal. On this product, I chose to use sawmill lumber that I milled, cut down, planed, and I did learn a new skill. I used the Craig jig to put it together, and I think you're supposed to plug those, but I didn't know that, so I didn't get any. So it's a toy box, it'll be fine. But again, if I bought the lumber already, you know, you can buy slabs of lumber already put together at Lowe's and just make a few cuts and put it together. It doesn't take as long, but this particular project, I really wanted to do the sawmill lumber for this customer. And so it turned out really beautiful.